guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How you doing? So today I'm going to be doing one of our highly requested cake recipes on this channel, which is the oil-based red velvet cake recipe. If you check on the channel, we have the butter-based red velvet recipe already. I've had it for some time and people have sworn by that recipe, but I found an easier recipe that's like an all-in-one one-pan recipe, and it also works as well as the butter-based red velvet cake recipe. So if that's something you like, let us get into the video of the day. So we're going to start out with our ingredients, making sure that everything has come to room temperature. So our eggs, oil, I tend to use sunflower oil, but you can use any oil that's available to you. Vinegar, salt, baking powder, baking soda, and milk. When it comes to milk, we have to try to use whole milk. It gives a really rich taste. Cocoa powder and flour. So we're going to start out the recipe. Now starting out, we're going to break our eggs into our pan. After breaking our eggs, we're going to add in our sugar, and then we're going to set that in the mixer, or if you have arms that are strong enough, you can whisk it together until you get a smooth consistency. When you mix your sugar and your eggs, it's going to rise, almost doubling in size, and it's going to be white and fluffy, and then you're not going to feel as much grains of sugar as you did in the beginning. That should tell you that you're ready to start adding our oil gradually until we've added every single part of our oil. After that, we're going to add in our red velvet food coloring, and then we're going to add in our cocoa powder as well, and keep mixing for some time. At this point, your butter is almost ready, but we have gotten to the most important part of this recipe, which is adding in your flour and your milk. So we have mixed all our wet ingredients together. If you follow this channel, you know that I always teach it, like if you're baking, all your wet ingredients together and all your dry ingredients together. So we have mixed all our wet ingredients, which is milk, vinegar, and all our other items that we'll be using. We've mixed it together, and then we've mixed all our baking powders, baking sodas in with our flour. So after doing that, we're going to add in, first we're going to start with our flour. So we're going to add one batch of flour into the mixture, and then we're going to add in one batch of milk. Now, the reason why we're going to be doing that in that order is because when you add in your flour, you're going to add in just a little bit of milk just to mix it all together. Then you're going to add in another batch of flour, another batch of milk, making sure that you end with the milk. Now, before you get to the end, when you have added at least half of the portion of your flour and your milk, we're going to turn off our mixer, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, make sure that there's nothing at the bottom, because the worst thing that can happen is that when you're done mixing your cake, you then see lumps at the bottom. You'll end up with an over mixed cake. So take your time, scrape up the bottom, make sure that everything is properly mixed, and then put it back in the mixer. Add your final batch of flour and your final batch of milk. That's all you need for this recipe. Now, this recipe is amazing. I have been using it for a few years now. I switched from the butter one to this one, and it is divine. You guys know I don't hide my recipes on this channel. Like, I give you the recipes that I am currently using because I would like it for your baking to get better. So after that, we're going to butter a pan and then add our butter into our pan. I like to use this red pan when I make red velvet because it just looks like red pan, red velvet. So we're going to bake that in a moderately hot oven until when you stick in your toothpick or your forks in like this, it comes out dry. You know that your red velvet is ready, and at this point it's time for me to layer it up. Now, I love red velvet cakes, but I particularly love red velvet cakes when it is layered up. So I mixed my whipped cream and I placed it in the fridge. If you want to get the whipped cream recipe, I have it on the channel. Please just check out the channel and you see the whipped cream recipe. So I'm going to put a huge layer of whipped cream on our red velvet, put my second layer of red velvet on it, and then layer it up. I'm going to put at the top as well. And then I'm going to get to slicing, guys. So this is what our red velvet cake is looking like. This is what our red velvet cake is looking like after layering it up and making it